Margaret, a vibrant 72-year-old grandmother, started forgetting where she placed her keys, struggled to recall her grandson's name during conversations, and found herself standing in her kitchen wondering why she went there in the first place. Her family worried it was the beginning of something serious, something irreversible. But after 6 months of following her doctor's advice about a specific vitamin regimen, Margaret was back to her crossword puzzles, remembering family stories with vivid detail, and even learning to use her new smartphone without assistance. What made the difference? Scientists have identified a crucial nutrient that our brains desperately need as we age, yet nearly 40% of older adults are deficient in it. The vitamin we're talking about is vitamin B12, and the research surrounding its impact on brain health in elderly populations is nothing short of remarkable. Before you think this is just another supplement fad, consider that multiple peer-reviewed studies from institutions like Harvard Medical School, the National Institutes of Health, and leading neurology departments worldwide have documented the profound connection between B12 levels and cognitive function in aging adults. This isn't pseudoscience or marketing hype. This is legitimate neurological research that could change how we approach brain health in our golden years. Let me explain why this matters so much. As we age, our bodies become significantly less efficient at absorbing vitamin B12 from food sources. The stomach produces less acid, which is essential for separating B12 from the proteins in our diet. Additionally, many older adults take medications for heartburn or acid reflux, which further reduce stomach acid production. This creates a perfect storm where even seniors eating a balanced diet rich in B12 containing foods like fish, meat, and dairy products still end up deficient. The consequences of this deficiency extend far beyond simple fatigue or weakness. Vitamin B12 plays an absolutely critical role in maintaining the protective sheath around our nerve cells, called myelin. Think of myelin like the insulation around electrical wires. Without proper insulation, the electrical signals in your brain misfire, slow down, or don't transmit properly at all. When B12 levels drop too low, this myelin deteriorates, leading to what neurologists call demyelination. The result? Memory problems, confusion, difficulty concentrating, slower thinking, and in severe cases, symptoms that mimic Alzheimer's disease or other forms of dementia. The truly frightening part is that in many cases, doctors and family members mistake B12 deficiency symptoms for normal aging or irreversible cognitive decline, when in reality, the condition could be addressed with proper supplementation. Recent research published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease followed over 1,500 elderly participants for more than 7 years. The findings were striking. Those with the lowest B12 levels showed significantly faster rates of brain volume loss compared to those with adequate levels. Brain shrinkage is one of the hallmark features of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias, so preventing or slowing this process is absolutely crucial for maintaining cognitive function as we age. But here's the encouraging news. When participants with low B12 levels began supplementation, researchers observed a measurable slowing in the rate of cognitive decline, and in some cases, actual improvements in memory and executive function. Another study from researchers at the University of Oxford examined whether B12 supplementation, particularly when combined with other B vitamins like B6 and folate, could slow brain atrophy in people experiencing mild cognitive impairment. The results were impressive enough that the research team described them as showing a completely new therapeutic approach to preventing Alzheimer's disease. Participants who received high-dose B vitamin treatment showed up to 7 times less brain shrinkage in certain brain regions compared to those who received a placebo. 7 times less shrinkage. That's not a marginal improvement. That's a fundamental difference in brain health outcomes. Now, you might be wondering what qualifies as adequate B12 levels, and how would you know if you or a loved one is deficient? The standard blood test for B12 can be somewhat misleading because it measures total B12 in the blood, not necessarily the amount that's actually available for your cells to use. Many functional medicine practitioners and neurologists now recommend additional testing, including methylmalonic acid and homocysteine levels, which are more sensitive markers of functional B12 deficiency. Elevated levels of these substances often indicate that your body isn't getting enough usable B12, even if your standard B12 test comes back in the normal range. Symptoms of B12 deficiency can be subtle at first and develop gradually over time, which is partly why it often goes undiagnosed. Beyond the cognitive symptoms we've already discussed, people might experience unexplained fatigue, weakness, balance problems, numbness or tingling in the hands and feet, mood changes including depression and even vision problems. The challenge is that these symptoms are common in aging populations for many reasons, so they don't automatically signal a B12 problem. This is precisely why screening becomes so important, especially for adults over 65. Certain groups face even higher risks of B12 deficiency. Vegetarians and vegans need to be particularly vigilant because B12 is naturally found almost exclusively in animal products. People who've had gastric bypass surgery or who have digestive disorders like Crohn's disease or celiac disease often have impaired absorption. Those taking metformin for diabetes or proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux should also be monitored closely, as these medications interfere with B12 absorption. For all these groups, supplementation isn't just beneficial, it's often medically necessary. When it comes to supplementation, not all B12 is created equal. The vitamin comes in several forms, and understanding the differences can help you make better choices. Cyanocobalamin is the most common and least expensive form found in standard multivitamins and fortified foods. Your body must convert it into active forms before it can be used. Methylcobalamin and adenosylcobalamin are active forms that your body can use immediately, without conversion. Many practitioners prefer these forms, particularly for people with genetic variations that affect vitamin metabolism. Sublingual tablets, which dissolve under the tongue, and nasal sprays can be more effective than pills for people with absorption problems, since they bypass the digestive system. For severe deficiencies, doctors often prescribe B12 injections, which deliver the vitamin directly into the bloodstream. The recommended daily amount of B12 for adults over 50 is at least 2.4 micrograms, but many experts suggest that older adults may benefit from significantly higher amounts, anywhere from 100 to 1,000 micrograms daily, particularly if deficiency is already present. The good news is that B12 is water-soluble, meaning excess amounts are typically excreted in urine rather than building up to toxic levels, making it relatively safe even at high doses. However, as with any supplement regimen, it's important to work with a healthcare provider who can monitor your levels and adjust dosing appropriately. What makes this research particularly exciting is that unlike many age-related changes, B12 deficiency is completely reversible if caught in time. Margaret's story, which we started with, isn't unique. Countless older adults have experienced dramatic improvements in memory, mental clarity, energy levels, and overall quality of life simply by correcting a vitamin deficiency. The tragedy is that many people suffer unnecessarily because the deficiency goes unrecognized and untreated. Beyond individual supplementation, this research points to broader public health implications. Some countries have already implemented B12 fortification programs, adding the vitamin to common foods like flour or breakfast cereals, similar to how folic acid fortification reduced neural tube defects in newborns. Given the aging global population and the enormous personal and economic costs of dementia, expanding B12 screening and supplementation programs for older adults could be one of the most cost-effective public health interventions available. The science is clear. The intervention is simple and safe, and the potential benefits are enormous. If you're over 65, or if you have elderly loved ones, having B12 levels checked should be a routine part of healthcare. Just like checking blood pressure or cholesterol, it's a small step that could make the difference between maintaining independence and cognitive vitality or facing unnecessary decline. Margaret got her life back because someone recognized the signs and knew about the research. How many others are struggling right now with a problem that has such a straightforward solution? The brain vitamin every elder needs isn't a miracle cure, but for those who need it, the results can certainly feel miraculous.